All right, it's show number 131, recorded on December 9th, 2014. And this year, we're doing a holiday gift show on time. You remember?
I was just going to say, on time.
You remember what we did last year, Tim? What I did last year?
It was like the week before. Yeah, it was like right at the end.
For some reason, I remember it even being like after, like in January. We had Seth White on. It might have even been in January, or at least maybe that was when I posted it. I know it was late. I know I was late in getting it done. So this year we're going to try and do it a little bit early. And I think Tim and I have a good mix of some stuff that's a little bit pricier, some things that are a little bit less pricey, some things that maybe won't appeal to someone who's not really into photography, and some things that will appeal to the average everyday user. So I think we had a good mix. But before we get into all of those things, I wanted to go over a few things. And, forgot. Tonight, Tim, we're going to announce, we haven't done this in a long time, but we're going to announce the winner of the November contest.
Yes, we haven't done it live for a long time.
We have not. And I really, I like all of our winners. I like, I'm proud to put them up on the Facebook group, have your image up there. Let's see if I can show.
I don't think Gina was happy about the November winner, though.
Well, that's where I was going to go. So if I can get this pulled up here so everybody can see what I'm talking about. I got a bunch of messages down at the bottom. Speaking of messages, I had something weird happen today. I don't know if you've ever had had somebody do this, but as I was leaving work today, I had someone, my phone made a weird sound, weird calling sound. I pulled it up. It was not my normal calling, thing in your phone. And it was one of our members in the Facebook group, one of the ones that helps us out a lot, Nikki. And I answered it, thinking maybe she butt dialed me somehow, but she had called me from her phone's Facebook app to my phone.
Oh,
really cool. I thought that was really cool. It threw me off a little bit. I didn't know what was going on. But speaking of Nikki, I wanted to, now I'm thinking about her, Nikki and Gina. Tim, you help me every week, do great show notes and here every week with me. Nikki and Gina are two of the ones that help me a lot in the Facebook groups. Not just the one everybody knows about.
The place that I'm never at.
the main Facebook group that we have pulled up here, but also we have a boudoir one where they help me over there too, and a number of other ways. They help with the voting every time. They help with the editing challenge. They're a huge help. Without them too, there's no way I could keep up with all this stuff. So a big thank you to Nikki and Gina for helping me every week, every day. But the image I was talking about for last month, was this one by Angie. I think that's how you say her name. And again, I'm always proud to have these images up there, but I got to say, Angie, I'm going to be glad to see this one go. All right.
I mean, it really looks like this image is just coming through your monitor.
Yeah. I mean, Halloween, it was supposed to be scary, so she did a great job making it like that. But that one's going to be gone maybe tonight after this show, because tonight we're going to announce the winner of the November contest challenge, November challenge. And then we're going to talk about what you saw just a little bit ago, the best of 2014 contest that we do. Every December we do a contest, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Before we do, I had a listener question, Tim, from somebody, and I'll try and read this word for word. I sometimes jump around, but it's from John Davis, and he says, "Hey, Mike, my daughter is playing basketball this year. Can't seem to figure out how to dial in the camera. Crappy lighting, action in the shot. Would love to have any good suggestions on setting up the camera. I'm shooting a Nikon D7000. I know you shoot your son at swimming events. Any direction would be awesome. Keep up the awesome podcasting. Love the show." And he's doing, from what I understand from that, he's doing indoor photography, indoor sports, which anytime you do an indoor and have action where there's a lot of movement, it's going to be difficult. So,
and usually in those gyms, it's that sodium lighting, which is absolutely horrible.
You got multiple things happening with the sodium lighting. You got one, it's poor amount of light. It's generally a poor quality of light because it's, a yellowish or sometimes even green I've seen.
Yeah.
Just weird colors. And then it's pulsating. You don't really realize
there's a frequency to it that sometimes your camera doesn't get correctly.
Yeah, so there's a pulsating that's happening both in the amount of light and in the color of the light. So with that, I can't deal with the color and all that. I get that's pulsating, that's changing a little bit. What I try and do, I bring a gray card or my Expo disc or something like that, set my white balance. I've even set it off the pool deck, which was a gray pool deck. Something to give me consistency that this is going to be white balance, and then if I need to make changes in post, I can do that because I'm going to be shooting raw. So I'll give you my, and I think he was talking about basketball. For some reason I thought he was talking about basketball.
Yeah, he was. He's playing basketball this year.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I knew. Looking at my suggestions, wondering what was I thinking. I'll tell you. I'll read you what my suggestions were because I have shot thousands and thousands of basketball shots too, in addition to the swimming. And what I have found is when I first started, I wanted to use my 70-200. I love the 70-200. It's got great range, and on a basketball court, it gives me a little bit more distance where I can get somebody. But the problem with it is that it's 2.8. And while that is great in the most everything else in indoor sports, 2.8 is on the weekend. And for something like basketball, because I have used the 70-200 for swimming, for something like basketball, the movement is so fast. And you got players moving in front of each other. And the older they get, the harder this gets. There's so much going on that me personally, I found it a challenge to keep up with the framing, the focusing, and then the zooming in and out. So I actually got rid of. I ditched the zoom, and I went with the smaller kids. I went with an 85 millimeter 1.8. That was the one I had. I went with for the bigger kids, I might have switched between an 85 1.8 and a 50 1.8 because that way I didn't have to worry about zoom. And I got to tell you, for me, when I switched to the 85 1.8 from the 70 to 200, I felt much more free. There's a whole segment of the photography I didn't have to worry about anymore because the zooming, I just didn't have to do that anymore. So that helped me out. So my suggestion to him was, yeah, if you want to bring your 70-200, fine, but bring something like a 50 or 85. If she's a younger child, the 50 might be too short. It may not be zoomed in enough. Next thing was use as fast of a lens as you can. If I had a 1.4, I probably would have used a 1.4 because you want to get that. You want to get as
much light into the lens as you can.
Yeah,
absolutely. And otherwise, you're going to have to just raise your ISO to something that's going to make a grainy picture then.
Yeah. And with, if they're if they're going to be 15 feet away from you, you do get some depth of field because they're a little bit further away. So you even with a 1.4, you're going to get a little bit more depth of field. But you got to watch that. Already talking about set your white balance, manually. My auto white balance just was not keeping up with it. And I didn't want a white balance that bounced all over the place through the whole game. I wanted a consistent white balance I would deal with in post. If your camera allows it, which I don't know about the D7000. I know my D700 does. I shot in auto white balance, auto ISO. So I would set the f-stop to wide open generally. I would set the shutter speed, and then I would go to auto ISO. And with auto ISO, I could actually say, here's the lowest ISO, which was 200, and then here's the fastest I want ISO to fastest I want ISO to go. So I might have said 12,800 was as much as I wanted to go. So now I got a shutter speed that's locked in, I got a f-stop that's locked in, and the thing that's moving around is my ISO. And the reason I did that was I wanted to make sure that my shutter speed didn't drop too low. Now you can, I believe in my Nikon, you can tell it to, let the shutter speed, maybe set the shutter speed a little bit higher and then let it come down a little bit in auto ISO. I'll have to look at that again. Do you have that with Sony?
I'm just looking. Oh, I do have auto ISO. How about that? ISO auto.
So when you think about the exposure triangle.
But hold on, I don't know if I have it. I bet you if I'm in manual, no, I do have it. I could.
When you think about the exposure.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea because it'll just this way you get the wide open shutter, get the shutter speed to what you want, get the f-stop to where you want it, and then have it pick the ISO that it wants. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, and exposure triangle is three things, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
ISO, shutter speed, and f-stop. And we've always played with the other two. I don't know where I'm using my hands. I don't know where they really are on the triangle. But you're always doing the other two, changing f-stop, changing shutter speed. There's no reason you can't put that in auto ISO. And I know some people say, hey, get out of auto. Let me tell you something. If you can come shoot soccer or not soccer, if you can come shoot swimming or basketball or indoor cheerleading and you can on the fly change your settings, your f-stop or your shutter speed, then you're way better than me because I can't.
Way better than me. No,
I can't.
Usually I'll shoot an aperture priority for when I do soccer.
Yeah, and I might shoot in an aperture priority when I shoot soccer outdoors, something like that. I have had a basketball though where it was fairly consistent. One thing with basketball, it was fairly consistent in the little area I was shooting in, and I was able to go full manual because one thing that was having to do with basketball. I don't think I told you this, John, in the email I sent you. That I probably forgot. So I don't know if you ever listened to this. Oh, you said great show, so maybe so. Is when I would go to shoot up at a basket. So somebody's coming down to shoot at a basket. The camera might catch one of the lights in the ceiling, and it might freak out and all of a sudden expose for that. And you get a really dark frame where the player was. So actually in some of the basketball shots, if you're going to be shooting like that, you want to go completely manual with everything locked down so that it won't trip and expose based upon that light in the ceiling. But in swimming, I generally would be auto ISO. All right, my next thing.
I'm going to have to try that one. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah,
experiment with that. Just learn that one.
And you can set parameters around it, at least on my Nikon, on how high it would go and how low it would go. I also suggest that you switch sides during half. Obviously, if you want your child's team coming straight at you, you're going to have to because they're going to change sides. Sometimes you find that one side is better lit than the other. So,
so you're talking here about being under the net, not from the sideline.
Yeah. So I would say move around a little bit, but I don't like to move around a lot because I tend to spend more time moving than shooting. I moved to a spot, and then the shot I wanted to get was over there where I was just at. So I tend to not move around a ton when I'm shooting basketball. When I'm shooting soccer, I might move a little bit more. I also just get there early. I like to get there while the game before them is still going on. Maybe the last quarter or something like that, so I can find out. Do all my setup. What's the lighting like? Set all that stuff up. Get a feel for the gym. And not feel rushed. So I like to get there a little bit early. Don't use flash. A
lot of times you're not allowed.
Yeah, a lot of times you're not allowed. I have seen the press photographers come in and they have done it. They got away with it. Nobody said anything. But I always thought, what if a player's coming up to dunk and I flash them and they don't,
they miss it now.
Yeah, I don't want to be responsible for that.
Yeah.
If you're talking about what does Sports Illustrated do? Well, they have strobes up in the ceiling, a little bit different than me flashing straight on it.
I was just going to say they have remote strobes that are that flashing from the top down, which probably doesn't bother the player because it's not in their eyes then.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to flash, you might want to talk to the refs and ask them before you do that, or if you know the coaches, talk to the coaches. I personally don't use it. And then I just asked them to post some examples when he gets them done. Maybe we can. Either enjoy his stuff or give him some more pointers or whatever. Those are my tips from shooting basketball and shoot a lot. All right. So that is the listener question. You want to go into the contest, the challenge?
Yeah, I think we should go to that.
Yeah, let's go.
This way you can remove the picture. I know you want to.
Yeah, I do. So the first one up was this one. Where's he at? By Gordon. First one up was this leaf. Oh, and the theme for November was leaves, picked by Daniel. Was it Dan? Yeah, Daniel. Okay. Gordon's picture here of leaves. I don't think you can see it yet, Tim, but he took a picture. I know which one. Yeah, he took a close-up picture of leaves. Very rich color. I love these close-up photos like this, where you get that rich color of the leaves and the detail of the leaves, and it gives the mood of fall for me. Excellent shot.
I would agree. I think the only thing that to me was I would have liked to have had more in the background on this, and I kept on going back and forth with it, but this was definitely one of the pictures that struck my eye right away. The way the leaves were just set up in the middle of it. Now, I don't know if he set this up or if this is where he found the leaves. He didn't say that in his photo, but I actually really like this picture.
Okay, yeah, me too.
And once again, this is another one where the website, the Facebook picture does much more justice to it than what's on the website right now on the live page.
Yeah, because obviously I'm having to reduce quality for streaming. And I will show you in just a second where a great place to go to see these are. But next up is this image by, let me get the person's name. Where's the person's name? Kyle Edward Geese.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Edward. Excellent shot of a nice little serene pond, reflections of the trees, of the colorful trees, multiple colors going on there. Reflection of the colorful trees into the pond. And he did a little bit of editing around the edges, maybe just the top and the bottom to kind of blur a little bit of blur toward the top and the bottom. I actually like that. I mean, this looks like a postcard or something you would have on the wall. To me, it feels like a northeastern, like a Vermont setting where you would love to be sitting there having a picnic, looking at this scene.
And the funny thing is, if I remember correctly, this was out of Germany. This picture, and you're right. It struck me as a northeast type picture. But those two trees on the left with their reflection in the water really is what brought this picture home to me. It was a strong image. It probably reminded me of my childhood a little bit, of pictures I've seen when I was upstate.
Yeah, very strong image. All right, our next image is by Sharon Fullerton. I think this was the actual first one entered. And I knew, so whenever Daniel picked leaves, I thought, leaves? What? I thought of what Gordon did, although he did it much better than what I was thinking. And then I thought, what else is there to do? Leaves is just there's not a whole lot of place to go with leaves. And then Sharon posted this one. And this image, I think, is just fantastic. I love this image. I love the angle, the low angle. I think there's a lens effect or something going on to make the leaf that the lady's holding look extra large. And I like the fact that she really is the only main thing that's in focus, that and the leaf.
You don't think that was a real leaf she was holding?
No, I do. I think it makes it look bigger.
Oh, because it's pushed out further forward than her.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it makes it the angle and the lens that she's using makes that leaf look bigger than it really was in life.
I'll tell you, looking at this picture, I wonder what other things were done to the picture. I mean, no doubt, I think he blurred out everything around her.
Well,
I don't think that was,
Sharon. I think
Sharon.
I think there's a woman.
Yeah, Sharon. I think she blurred out everything around it post processing.
Yeah.
I like this picture, and you're right. The background is nice green. You got the foreground with the dead leaves, and then she's holding the one bright red leaf in the picture.
Yeah, and all three of these excellent.
Yes,
they definitely deserve to be in the finals here. All three were excellent. Only one can win, and it generally is not the one I pick. I'm generally off on my own. But Tim, I don't know if we have any kind of
fanfare. No, I was looking for it.
Well, I gotta set us up so I can get the right photo up. All right, you ready? The winner for the November photo challenge is Kyle.
Yay, Kyle.
Kyle Edward Geese. Excellent image, Kyle. Congratulations. That's great entry. And I look forward to seeing it on the cover of our Facebook group. Very, very soon.
And I'm sure Gina does as well.
Yeah, very soon. Maybe later when we get done with this show, I'm going to have it up there. Again, congratulations, Kyle. And I mentioned that the place to go and look at these, the best place to go look at these, other than our Facebook group, is the jpeg2RAW forums.
Yes.
Wait, how's that not working? There we go. So if you go to the forums and then you go to gallery, which Tim, you probably never go here, but I'm going to show you, Tim.
Wow. I'm there right now.
You go to gallery, and now we have a featured image section where these things will kind of scroll through and everything. But I'm going to go down to monthly photo challenge finalist. And then I'm going to click on November. And we have all the previous ones there too, by the way. If I actually click on it. And then I'm going to just scroll through, and you can see here's Gordon's entry. Here's Kyle's entry.
Mm-hmm.
And here is Sharon's entry. Very good.
We've had a lot of really good pictures this past year.
We have.
Entered into it.
And if you want to go and see, where's all of them? Monthly photo challenge, all entries. Okay, so you're seeing something extra there. We actually have a boudoir group, and they have their own photo challenge, which is you just saw there. But if you want to go into this album, then you can see all the entries that we had, including the ones we just had there. So if you're not a member of the Facebook group, of course, is the first place to go. But if you're not a member of the Facebook group, then this is another great place to go. The jpeg2RAW forums, which, Tim, what is that link? Do you remember? I do. It's jpeg2RAW.com/forums. Go there, join. Yep. Go there and join, and we'd love to have you contributing. All the editing challenge, all the photo challenge, all that stuff is also out there. Plus, there is a whole forums here where you can go and discuss all kind of different stuff.
And then the question has to be, if you're not a member of the Facebook group, why not?
True, but some people don't. Maybe some people don't want to be in Facebook.
Well, this is true.
And that's why you have like the forums. So you can go there. All right. Speaking of, so that's out of the way. We've got the November photo challenge done for the second year in a row. I think this is our second year doing this, Tim.
Now, also to sign in with the forums, if I'm right, you don't have to make a new sign-in name. You can sign in with your Google. You can sign in with Twitter. So you don't have to come up with another type of sign-in, correct?
Absolutely. You can. There's 4 different ways you can create an account. One, you can just be a guest and just poke around, but you can't post anything. The photo editing challenges, you can still download the photos with just being a guest. But if you want to contribute, if you want to say some stuff, you want to post your own photos in there, then you have 4 ways to enter to become a member there. One is you just log in using Facebook. Another is you log in using Google+. Another is Twitter. And then you can just create an account that is not linked to any of your other accounts. It's an account only on here. Because I have to have multiple accounts so I can view it as an admin, as a non-admin, all that. I have both a jpeg2RAW mic and jpeg2RAW Twitter mic, or Twitter mic, I think, or something like that. And then I have a third one called member mic. So I'm in there multiple times. Look at one of those ways. Facebook, I found, is the absolute easiest. You just click on that little link and you're basically in. So speaking of the Facebook group, we got this. Is it? Yeah. Gina has posted this great thing here, this image holder, I guess it is, image placeholder. This is the photo contest, December 2014. So for the second year in a row, I think second, maybe third, for the second or third year in a row, for December, we're not doing a photo challenge. We're doing a photo contest. Normally every month it is a challenge with a theme for the month, and you got to shoot it in that month. December is different. December is a contest, so there's no theme. Whatever you want to enter, and still within Facebook's rules. You can't enter anything that's outside their rules, but within Facebook rules, and it has to be just taken within 2014. So much wider thing. You do have to be the image. You have to be the person who took the image. That kind of thing. But your best of 2014, you have to the end of December to enter. And unlike what we have been doing for our regular monthly photo challenges, this one will have some prizes. I've been saving, I've talked a lot before about using our Amazon link. And, every time, Tim, you recently used it. Every time you go to Amazon, use jpeg2RAW.com/Amazon. Use that to go to Amazon. If you're already at Amazon shopping, you're probably not going to give us any credit. You got to use this beforehand. Use it once, save that first page you go to as a bookmark, and then just use that bookmark from then on out. So you don't even have to remember. But every time you go and if you used our link, we get a small credit. And we haven't been getting enough lately to do some kind of content, some kind of prize every challenge. So I've been saving it up so we have a little bit we can do here at the end of the year. And one of the things we're going to give away is this.
Woohoo!
Where is it?
Yeah, I see it. It's right up there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is 1 year for those people who are listening through audio. 1 year, 12-month prepaid membership to the Adobe Creative Cloud photography plan is a card, and I'm going to show it real fast. So you might want to pause your video. There's the code. Oh wait, you got to scratch that off to see it.
I was like, he's not really showing that, is he?
No, it's got a scratch off. So somebody's going to win. I'm going to give this to them. There will be some other prizes. There's going to be a post coming up soon to talk more about this. I'll probably a post on our website, which I'll post it on Facebook and everywhere else. Talk about how to enter. Entering is really easy. If you're in a Facebook group, it's super easy. You just post it into that album. And if you already have Creative Cloud, you may not be interested in this. Well, there's going to be other prizes, so don't worry about that. There's going to be some other things. We're going to blow our entire wad of Amazon money, which is not all that great, but we're going to blow it out here at the end of the year, and then hopefully, everybody remember to use our Amazon link. More when you go to buy either Amazon or actually we have another one with Topaz Labs, www.jpeg2RAW.topazlabs. Use that to go to Topaz Labs. We get a credit there too. We have a few others that are on our site. I don't have a little fancy thing to pull up here yet for them, but we have Bluehost and we have Colorveil, which is from a former person who's come on the show. What's her name? I should have.
There's no way I'm going to remember that.
I should have looked that up before I did that. I will figure it out later, and I'll bring her name up. But she's been a guest. She's been a guest on the show. She's posted She's been a guest writer for us. We do have a sponsorship, a affiliate with her too. You would know today's one day she doesn't post anything. All right, we'll be back with that in a little bit.
One question for you, Mike. The people that have already the Photoshop plan or the photographer's plan, if you had that code, would they just get a free credit for the year then? I don't know the answer on that.
I don't know either. I would think that you'd want to use it as your membership was ending to extend your membership for another year.
But I wonder, because like I have the monthly plan, I pay automatically gets deducted from my credit card. So I wonder if I had used this, and I don't know if it's written on there anywhere what it says about that.
Yeah, so some of those things you might have to figure out yourself if you
win, yes.
I would suggest that you contact Adobe and get the answer there. Yeah, and I'm glad you were delaying for me, but I still can't find any posts she's done today. She posts all the time except for today. Anyway, we'll go on with that. So what we're going to do, normally what happens with the photo challenge every month is Tim is a judge, I'm a judge, Gina and Nikki are a judge, and then we have Danielle and Jackie, who are also judges for our monthly photo contest challenge. What we're going to do this time is that all of us, the normal judges, are going to pare down the list of all the entries to the top 5. And look what I just found her. I'm going to pare down the list of entries to the top 5. Those 5 will then go to a group of what I'm calling celebrity judges. We're still trying to confirm one of them, but we're going to have a group of celebrity judges that will go through the last 5, and they will be the final judges for the winner and the placing, 1 through 5, of the final images that make it to the images that make it to the final. They will judge that for us this year, instead of us doing it.
It's probably a smart choice.
It is. I think they'll probably give us some better feedback too. So who those judges are? As I'm trying to do 2 things at one time and not doing either one very well. Those judges are going to be Andy Bloxham. Do you remember Andy?
Yes, I do.
Yep, Andy Bloxham, who we had on twice. He did the Rule of Thirds and he did Shotapalooza, that very creative thing that he had done for us. Then we're going to have Ron Clifford, who is a master with the Arcanum with Trey Ratcliffe. Then we're going to have Mark Johnson. Remember Mark was
yes, that's twice. A while ago.
Yeah, Mark.
But it's been a while since he's been on, right?
Yeah, he's been on this year, so that it's been a while, I guess, that because this year is almost over. But he was on first part of the year, maybe like March or something like that.
Yeah.
When he came on, he did something with, what was it, with his composites. He did a composite, live editing composite.
Just totally blew me away.
Yeah. And then we had, because those are 3 males, I had to throw in a female. And if you know of any other females that you think I should include that I actually can get to judge, don't tell me something like some person I can't get. The final, the other female is Kathleen Bowie, If you remember, if you've been watching the show for a long time, Kathleen was a co-host for a number of years, for a number of
Right.
shows. I don't know about years, but she was a co-host for quite a while. Stacy Jensen. I just remembered her name. Stacy Jensen is the person who does Color Veil. We're
Yes.
also a affiliate. You're wondering why did I just say that? We're an affiliate of Stacy Jensen's Color Veil. So if you buy something from her, use our link. Go to our website and click on the icon there to use our link. Wow, that was horrible. The final person is also a master with the Arcanum, but I don't want to announce his name until he agrees to it. I think he just hasn't seen the email yet. I'm sure he will agree. But until he agrees, I'm not going to announce
Right.
his name. All right, so that is that. We'll have a number of ways to enter. You can enter through the Facebook group. You can enter through the website. I'll set up that on our website and have this all in the post. You can enter through the not through the forums. I haven't set that up. I probably won't. You can enter through our Google Plus community. So there's going to be a number of ways you can enter, even maybe through our Facebook page. So you don't have to be a member of anything if you don't want to. You can still enter to this thing. You just got to get it in before December 31st. All right. That took up half the show. Wow. So I've been talking a lot, Tim.
Well, we talked about a lot.
Yeah, we covered a lot. We hadn't done a live. We haven't done a live picking of the winner in a long time. So I think it was time to do that.
Yeah, it's probably been about 6 months.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
At least.
I think our voting cycle has been out of sync with the show cycle. So, I'm glad we're able to get one tonight. All right. So now the topic we had for tonight was gift ideas, holiday gift ideas, and I think I mentioned that I have some things that may be a little more expensive. I have a few things that are not. Tim has some things that are a little bit cheaper. So hopefully between the two of us, we're going to appeal to just about every photographer that's out there. And I'll kick us off, Tim, and then we can kind of go back and forth. My first thing is something I've already mentioned, and that is Adobe Photoshop Lightroom. If you can afford the entire Creative Cloud and you're going to use all that stuff, then have at it. That is I know no one likes the subscription thing. I know I'm not a big fan of paying a monthly fee, but for what I'm getting, I feel that I'm getting a pretty good deal because I end up now using Photoshop, Lightroom, Adobe Premiere. I'm trying to use After Effects, but I stink at it. And Adobe Audition, which is the auto editing. I use for the show Premiere and Audition a lot. So those are two things I probably would have never bought on my own, and I am able to get the teacher discount through my wife. So I feel that I'm getting a great deal. If you're not going to use all that stuff, if you're just looking at this for photography, then the photographer plan at $9.99 a month. This is a year subscription. If you don't want to pay a month thing, then you just buy this thing for the year. And I think this was like $115.
I really think that is great that they came out with the photographer's plan. I mean, versus where they had the Photoshop bundled with other things, which I wasn't going to use, or at least not at that point, and I don't see myself using it. But Lightroom, obviously, I'm going to use. Photoshop, I go into once in a while. I'm not in there nearly as much as the Lightroom, maybe 5% of the time, 10% tops. But having the availability of it is great.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't want to do without it. And, for that kind of price, even though you got to have to pay it every year or every month, depending on what plan you go with, that's a great deal. All right, you want to go with yours?
Yeah, one of the things I talked about last year was that I was looking for a way of displaying the pictures that I take, and I realized since I went digital, I don't print off nearly as many pictures as when I had a film camera. So I'd been looking for a photo frame. But the type of photo frame that I had in my house at the time was one where I had a compact flash card that I had to stick in there. Then I never updated the pictures. Probably the pictures were 3 years old, but by the time the photo frame died, and then I started looking to find one that actually would work with either Wi-Fi or emailing it to it. And I found one on Amazon from Nixplay, and I think, Mike, you were going to put it up on the screen. They had I bought the 8-inch one at the time. It's $100 on Amazon. The 12-inch was $140, and they actually had a sale on it Amazon yesterday. I think it was about $110 for one of their Amazon Prime days. I guess they have these boxes. But this is a photo frame where You get a website with it that you're able to upload the pictures to, control the pictures over the website, add it to it. You can email pictures to it. You can attach to it through, I think, Flickr, through Facebook. I think Instagram was one of the ones. So this was a great way for me to display my pictures. And I know that it was a big hit this past Thanksgiving because people were sitting around it and actually looking at the pictures and making comments. So to me, this was something that was nice and easy. I'm going to probably get one for my mother-in-law so I can control the pictures that I add to her. From here, she lives in Connecticut, so obviously it's not as easy to upload pictures to a card in there. But to go to the website and just make changes, it's real easy.
This is something I've been looking for a long time. I'd love to get this for my my mother-in-law. She really is too old to deal with anything computer related. I mean, heck, just when we call her on the phone, she hangs up the first 3 times we call, and it's usually like the 4th time she will then answer the phone. And it's not digital; it's a regular phone. The 4th time she will pick it up and then swear that we were the ones hanging up. Yeah, we know how to call. It's not us, it's you. But something like this, where she could just sit there and enjoy the pictures coming across, not have to do anything, we could remotely change those photos for her. This would be perfect. So I'm considering getting this for my mother-in-law for Christmas. Great pick there, Tim.
Thank you.
All right, my next thing was something that I'm actually doing. We've talked a lot on the show about different hosts, different guests who've had workshops, some kind of training. I think that doing some kind of training, just like you would with in a broader professions, if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a CPA, a teacher, there's probably endless amounts of professions that need ongoing training, and not like on the job. In my case, I'm an accountant. Every day I do accounting, so in a sense that's its own training. But you need to go away and do some other training, have someone else train you every once in a while. So I think as a photographer, it's good for us to do some type of workshop, some kind of training, whether you go on and do online stuff only, whether you have a workshop that you're going to go remotely do it. I know there was a member of our of the community, Terry Chapman, who recently traveled off to, I think it was Yellowstone, and did a workshop out there. Fantastic. I'd love to do something like that. Getting out doing something like that is a great way to continue and improve your photography. For me, what I am doing, I'm going to try and get it pulled up here. I'm doing right now, there's a guy who has a Facebook group, who's a very active Facebook group called Ask Damon. And he is, I don't know if he's so much of a photographer, he's more of a editor. He edits photos, and he's very good. He's what do you call those? After he does production or whatever like that.
Post-production.
Post-production. He's very good. So he has a site. He's out in Australia. He has a site called Damien's
Mons.
Yes.
Oh.
Something Simons or something like that. I have the link in the show notes. It's I'm never going to say this right. But he has several classes. The classes are a little bit different. They're Facebook-based classes. Whenever you go and you got to pay for these. These are, whatever the price is. They're not that expensive. I think the raw class is a raw class, which is some price. It doesn't say here. But they're all $85. There you go. It's $85. And then you've got the levels class, which is only $20. And then you've got the layer mask class, which is $20. Sorry, the levels class is $55. So, I bought all 3 of them. So a little bit, I think you get some discounts as you buy some others. So just a little bit over $100. And they're Facebook based. Once you sign up for them, he then will friend you in Facebook, add you to these groups, and then I think he unfriends you. That was just so he can add you to the group. He adds you to the group, and then you have access to all the information that's inside the group, and you're in this community where you can talk to him, talk to other members about that topic. And it's all this is Photoshop training, basically, is what he's doing. For me, I think one of my many weaknesses is in post-production. I need to improve my post-production skills. And I'm not ready to go to somewhere where like Mark Johnson's doing these crazy involved composites that he does are just fantastic. I want to start off again from the basics and talk about some stuff. The raw class was probably a little bit too basic for me. And some of the levels and the layer mask is a little basic too, but he gets into more details going through that. So for me, it's been valuable money. This may not be for you. You can go and look at his website, and he'll give you some examples. But I would say, do some kind of training in 2015, some kind of workshop, some kind of training. The other thing I had along the same lines was, if you are in the business, if you're looking to do any kind of business on this, go to Rachel Brinke's site, the Law Talk. I think I have a link for that too. And she has a ton of legal documents that you can go out there and buy. From everything from birth contracts, boudoir. What does she have there? The model releases, all that kind of stuff, stock photography, any kind of topic that you're looking to get into. I think somebody recently asked her for real estate contracts. Before you go start shooting something for money, you should have the other side sign a contract. And Rachel, somebody asked her about a real estate one. I think she's going to work on one. So if she doesn't have what you want, reach out to her and ask her to create one. She is a lawyer. So this is not just Mike. That's not Mike writing one. This is somebody who knows what they're talking about. They're all reasonably priced in something you can use over and over again, for every client. So it'd be well worth it if you're into that side. And again, if you have something that's not there, you can talk to her. She's very open. She's always online. This woman, I have no idea how she ever sleeps, because she has like 5 kids, went to law school, and started a business all at the same time. She's like superwoman. But go there and check her things out. And that is thelawtalk.com. And you can go from there. We have the link in the show notes too. No affiliation with her other than she's been on the show. I just really impressed with her and her offering. All right, Tim.
Okay, the next one I had on the list was this was something simple. A lot of people take pictures with their camera, and it's a Yopo Universal 3-in-1 lens for your smartphone, so that you can take different types of pictures. Comes with a fisheye, a wide angle, and a macro lens, so you can, as opposed to just taking the normal pictures with your camera, it gives you an opportunity to take different types of creative pictures, and maybe some silly pictures, some fun pictures. It's only $10, attaches to any smartphone, is easily removable. So it was something different to use on a cell phone, which everybody, actually you see more and more people, that is their type of picture they're taking. They're just using that. You don't see as many SLRs suddenly. I think you see less and less of those, but everybody has a cell phone.
Yeah. And we talked about this on another show we were on, Tim. In my opinion, unless you have some special need, then if you're thinking about a point and shoot, you really should just forget that. Either have your SLR, whatever it is. I say digital SLR, but I know some of them are going without the mirror. So you have mirrorless or SLR or whatever, and then your cell phone. So your cell phone, the cell phones have gotten so good, whether it's Android or iPhone, they've gotten so good, or Windows, that really there's not much of a need at all for a point and shoot anymore.
I agree. I think that part of the segment is going to disappear. Just like you're going to slowly see less GPS standalone units because your phone takes over for that. So,
all right. So the next thing I had was something I need to buy, probably a couple of these, because I broke one of my flashes, and breaking a Nikon flash that costs $500+ is really painful.
Yes, it is.
And replacing it's even more painful. So they've talked about this out in our Facebook group a number of times. Seth White has bought these. A number of people in our group has bought them. I haven't bought them yet. I'm going to put this on the list for my wife to get me. And that is a Yongnuo, whatever. Professional Yongnuo. And so for a flash, you're going to get this flash with a hot shoe flash, which comes with a transmitter and a receiver. What is it? Built-in receiver?
No, transmit. No, I thought it was a transmitter.
The transmitter or receiver?
Now I gotta read it.
Why don't you read it while I'm talking? It comes with a built-in either transmitter or receiver, and works. You can get one that works on Canon, Nikon, Pentax, Olympus, a lot of different cameras. And instead of paying $500, you're gonna pay $73 for this thing. Just did I pull up the wrong one? There is one receiver or something.
Yeah, I don't see it written on here right now. And I think there's two up here. This is the international warranty one. For some reason, the USA warranty one is actually $71, so it's actually $2 cheaper.
There it is. And when I punch on that one, now it says with integrated 2.4 gigahertz
there
receiver.
It is.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it does have a integrated receiver with that, and we're at $71 for the US warranted version. Then you can get multiples of these. There's been some discussion on whether these are TTL. Maybe they won't work. For this price, it won't work as good TTL as your Nikon or Canon lens. But at $71, heck, just put it on manual and play around with it, and create some great lighting scenes with multiples of these.
And the flash trigger that works with this is $32, so that's pretty cheap as well.
Yeah, so that would be hot shoe mounted. You'd mount that on a hot shoe.
Yep, that's correct.
I think I'm going to get a couple of these and play and that receiver. So that is
that looks like that mounts to the to your hot shoe. It's got a hot shoe connection on it.
Is that
now, they have different ones for different? That's for a Canon. I'm guessing they have it for Canon Rebel. They have multiple different ones. Canon 1D, Nikon. So they have different ones. They actually have the bundle, the Wi-Fi receiver, the flash trigger, as well as the flash for $89 for a Nikon. So there you go, Mike.
There we go. Where are you seeing that?
I'll put the link in the show notes. You're probably not going to be able to get that off.
Well, we're going to see if I can move that over to this other system. Oh.
Or you could search that on in Amazon. You'll find it.
I got it now. So
you got it? Okay.
Yeah. So I would mount this onto. I got the bundle with the transmitter. So I got a receiver built into the flash. I got the transmitter. I'll put the transmitter on the hot shoe flash. Right? Is that going to go on the hot shoe flash?
Yeah, because it's got a hot shoe mount. It looks like.
Yeah. And then I would put that wherever I wanted, and I imagine it can control more than one. I don't know if there's a limit on how many it can control. Anyway,
supports 10 channels. I don't know. You want to buy 10 flashes to be awfully bright.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. Okay. So that is a really inexpensive way to get into Flash. All right, that's my thing. What you got next, Tim?
All right, now a couple of the next ones that I had. Well, actually, I had. I guess mine can go along with yours. I had the GorillaPod stand with a ball head and bubble level, which is a nice thing to have. It's very portable. Mike is actually showing his off right now, so this is something.
I don't have the ball head and other thing you mentioned. I just have this.
Right, but it's still, that's predominantly what you're looking for is the GorillaPod, so it mounts anywhere, wherever you are. You can mount it and have a sturdy mount for your camera, or you can get your cell phone on it. They have different ones depending what you want to do, and then you can take your selfies with it. And Mike is now wrapping his GorillaPod around his arm for his microphone.
I needed some extra weight there, so I just kind of wrapped that around there. Yeah, so you had, pull us into that. You had that on over here on Amazon. You had the link here, which this one includes. I think you were going with the Joby. It's a Joby GorillaPod, and this one also has the tripod. I mean the ball head mount.
Correct.
Ball head, not the ball head mount. The ball head actually. Yeah, and these are very inexpensive.
Yeah, at the price it was $39. I think now for some reason now it's showing it was $45 when I saw it last week. It actually went up to. It looks like it went to $60. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, I guess the holidays are coming, so they're going to.
Yes. So it goes to show you have to pay attention to your prices at Amazon because they change.
Yeah, here's one, a black one, or does it say red? Yeah, red, because it's the ball. The ball is down here. Red one was a little bit cheaper. It's $57.
Yeah. So you gotta look around at Amazon and see what happens with their prices over time also.
Yep. Right. You didn't know I had that real handy, did you?
No, you were waiting for that one this time.
I was. So the next thing I have is something that I keep struggling with using. I use it from time to time. I've had it for a while. I think if I were to if I had more desk space, I would get this one here, the medium size Wacom, whatever tablet. I know we had Joel on last week. He said he he basically lives with it. And, with the kind of work he's doing, and you watch how fast he does that stuff, he is someone who it's second nature to use it. And he probably, heck, uses that thing in place of a mouse. I know people that are that good that use this thing in place of a mouse. I'm never going to use it that much. There's too much I do that where I don't use it. But once you start using a Wacom tablet for do your editing, especially the fine tuning editing, it's really nice. I love having the dial on the side, so I use it to change the brush size. I can, just dial that in and make my brush bigger and smaller, really easy. This one I have pulled up here is the medium. It's $309. You can get the small. That'll be a little bit cheaper. And then, of course, you can go even bigger, get large and extra large, too.
Yeah, I have the medium and I like it. I can't say I use it a heck of a lot, but when I do use it, and for certain editing is absolutely wonderful versus using a mouse. No matter how fine I think I am with a mouse, you know what? You just cannot get to that exact point you want.
Now, if you watch somebody who knows what they're doing with this thing, they are so fast.
Oh,
I think it is a learning curve. One thing, with my small one, basically the pad, the part that you can write on, you set it up to be the same dimensions as your screen. So if you're on the upper left-hand corner of the pad, you're in the upper left-hand corner of your monitor. And
right.
It took me a little bit of getting used to do that. But I do like using it. I'm not going to get rid of it. And I tell you, if I were to increase the size of my desk, I'd probably go and get the medium. All right.
Yeah, I didn't want to get the small and the large is just way too big because then you're moving your arm too much. I think that might be more for an artist who's going to do drawing with it versus a photographer. And sometimes I think maybe the small would have been a better one to go with, but no, I always go a little larger for some reason.
No, I think if you got the desk space, I would stick with the medium. That's good. All right, what you got next, Tim?
All right, I have three of the next ones coming up, which all kind of fell into the same area for me because I had an issue last year or over the summer when I went on my vacation. I took 1,000 pictures while I was away on vacation, came back, and lo and behold, in the sky, I had a lot of little dust specks. And when I realized I needed to clean my sensor after all the post-production I had to do in Lightroom to get rid of the dust, I wanted to make sure it didn't happen again. So the first thing I got was a rocket air blaster, which tried to clean out the chamber. But when I took a couple of subsequent pictures with it on my wall, I realized that I still had some dust on there. So then I wound up going with the visible dust sensor cleaning kit. And this is the one thing I never, ever wanted to do. I actually touched the sensor with the brush because I had to clean it. It was either that or I'll send it out. And I figured I didn't want to lose my camera for a couple of weeks. I said, I will try it. If it doesn't come out perfect, then I'm going to wind up sending it in. I cleaned it. I think I went over the sensor twice. I didn't use the liquid drops. I just, what I had to do with the brush, first I had to use a compressed can of air to, I guess it charges up the brush. Then I swiped over the brush over the sensor twice. I took pictures and it absolutely cleaned the sensor. I have not had another speck of dust in any of the pictures since then. So obviously I think everybody knows. What are you going to say?
Go back. What did you do before you put the lens? I mean, the sensor cleaner in there.
I used the rocket.
Okay, I thought you said compressed air.
No, compressed air on the brush.
Okay,
not in the chamber. No, God, no. That will probably freeze up your sensor. No. You take the compressed air. One of those cleaning air things for like a computer. You spray it on the brush itself, so it charges up. I guess the negative ions go on the brush.
Do not spray that into the
what
do you call it, the sensor chamber, because it has little oils on it too, and you will spray that all over your sensor, and then you're in big trouble. Do not spray that inside. You don't see them, but they're
they will be there. You will see them.
Yeah. So you actually didn't have to get any liquid on your sensor.
No, the kit I bought had the liquid as well. I guess if there was a stubborn particle on there, but I didn't have to do that. I just used the brush part of it. I went over it twice and took pictures of a white wall and had nothing on there now.
So just by charging that brush when you put it over it, it kind of like sucked up
Right. I
the
guess
dust
the
particles.
negative ions on there pulls the positive particles off the sensor.
So let me ask a question. So you take the lens off. Do you have the camera turned on?
No, the cameras, before I turn it off, I first turn the camera on, set it up for, in my camera, you have to set it up for manual cleaning. Then when I opened up the lens, I actually have to click on a button inside which flips the mirror up inside the camera to expose the sensor underneath it.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I wonder if mine has that. I think mine would have to be on, and have to be like a long exposure to have the lens, the mirror up.
I don't know. A lot of cameras have it for that. It's probably written in the manual. You probably skip that section.
I would have, yeah, that's true. But it could be, my D700 is starting to show its age. It could be that they didn't have that back then. And the only way to do it was go in like bulb mode and sit there and hold it open and
It could be.
hope you hold it open the whole time you're cleaning it.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, that's okay. That's good if you can do that, where you can have it turned off so that there's no charge, I guess, to the
To
sensor,
the sensor itself.
and the mirror is not going to fall down on you while you're trying to do this.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right, because
Okay.
that would be disastrous.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the best thing would be not to get the dust on the sensor. Turn the camera off when you change the lens. Hold the camera with lens pointing down to make the changes. Don't do it in windy conditions or if there's dust around. But obviously, you bought an SLR to change lenses, so
Yeah.
you're going to have that problem.
I think there's no good way to avoid dust forever. I mean, it's just
I
going to
agree.
happen. It's going to happen. All right. So, was there a third one?
And then I think the last one that was up there was the actual lens pen, which was I have these in a couple of my camera bags, which just you don't want to use a piece of tissue paper, paper towel, your shirt to clean your lens on your camera. You want to use something that's meant for it. You think about your lenses; they're several $100s. If you scratch the lens, you may as well toss the lens. So this is the right thing to use to clean your lens. The kit also came with one of the lens pens was used to clean the viewfinder as well, because that's a smaller area. So
Yeah,
that's something that's very good to use.
I got it pulled up here, and I don't know if it's the same model, but I have the same thing where one end is that soft felt type, whatever that is,
Right.
that you use to clean it. The other is like a brush. I use these on my lens. I keep it in my bag all the time. They're really small, really easy to just stick in the bag. It's basically just a large
You have
pen.
it with you.
Yeah,
And now the inside the cap, it actually recharges. That felt tip is actually slightly wet from that cap, so the
Okay.
cap is actually got a solution in it, I guess.
okay. I had pulled something up by mistake here, so why don't we just go to it? And that is your spider.
Spider. This is something. If anybody is doing any sort of printing, or if you're putting something up on the internet, I think you want to make sure your pictures are accurate. And I started a long time ago with calibrating my monitors after I used to print pictures, and they never came out what it looked like on my screen. I was like, why is it not looking like this? So finally, somewhere along the way, I was probably researching how to print from your computer, and it said you need to calibrate your monitor. And I bought. I now have a Spider 4. I think I had a Huey Pro before that. It had gotten old and it wasn't working correctly anymore. So I wound up doing a little research, and I wound up getting this model. And after you calibrate your monitor, and I calibrate it every 2 weeks, and sometimes I actually wind up letting it go to 3 weeks. It gives me a 2-week reminder. You realize what a difference the screen is. Normally your screen, or for me at least, the screen is always brighter when it is not calibrated. So now you think about when you're looking at the picture, it's nice and bright. And then when you go print it on your printer, well, why is it dark? Well, that's what it should look like. It's just your screen is not calibrating it correctly.
Right. Some people, like you and I both, we calibrate on a regular basis. I know people who, for whatever reason, they've got their editing process down to where what they're editing and what they're printing does come out to be right. It comes out to be the same. For those people, I know Scott Green is one of those people who he's a professional and he does like graphics in his day job. He probably doesn't want to touch this, but
Because it may change for him then.
it may
suddenly.
mess his system up. For the rest of us, who if you're fighting, I can't get my prints to look like my screen or that kind of stuff, then calibration is a must. And I'm going to show you something here with with me. This is kind of a behind the scenes thing that I show maybe during the pre-show, but you got 4 of my monitors here. So, and there are 2 of them are on, these 2 over here on one computer, just these 2 are on another computer. This one here, the one straight in front of me, is the one that I use for my editing. It is calibrated. I do all my editing on that one. I do a little bit of editing with this one. It is also calibrated, but it's a little bit older monitor. These 2 over here, not they're manually calibrated, where I just change the stuff on the menu setting to try and get them somewhat close to what this big one is. So I generally am looking at the Facebook group over on this monitor, and it's a 1080p. It's a decent monitor. I mean, it's like $100 monitor. It's not that expensive. It's a Samsung. I've done my best to manually color correct it and everything. But I'll be looking at photos over here in the Facebook group, and I know sometimes I go, what's wrong with it? It looks a little off. Or the other time is I've looked at it and thought, that image is fantastic. I love the way they edited that. And then when I pull it over onto my color calibrated monitor, it's a whole different image. And sometimes that's much better. Sometimes that's worse. But I'm always shocked by what I thought was fairly close monitors and how different the image really is. So, thinking about that, if I was editing on this monitor over here, this one to my left that's not color calibrated, if I was editing on that one, God knows what kind of results I'd be getting. Now, right. If you're shipping these out and people are putting them on Facebook and viewing them on Facebook, yeah, you have no control over those people's monitors. They're going to be off too. But you got to start from a point that you know that you're calibrated. And I think as more people view your stuff on their phone and on their tablet, those are a little bit better calibrated than the average monitor, I think.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, from what I've seen. So you want to be at a calibration edit. You want to know that what you're editing is right. And something like this Spider, which is not that much money, $129, so it's not chump change, but that is a great thing to have.
I think they have a couple of monitors. I think this is the middle level one. They have one that's a little cheaper that would only do one monitor. I think the one I have allows for multiple monitors, and that's the reason I went with this one, because I have 2 monitors that I calibrate.
Yeah, and mine allows for multiple monitors, but it's connected to one computer. Software's over here on this one
Correct.
computer. And that's why these other 2 monitors I mentioned, I don't really care if they're off.
Right, you're not using it for that.
Yeah. All right, so that was Tim's. Some good suggestions there, Tim. Mine is going to be, the next one I have up is the Black Rapid. What did I just do? Black Rapid. I love my Black Rapid. And I
bought one after your recommendation, and I absolutely love it.
If I can get it over here without dropping it. So I actually have the Black Rapid Sport, which when you go to put it on, over your shoulder, you're going to have a little strap that goes under your arm. You can take that off. I'm not so sure I would get that one again. I might get the what do they call it? The Curve now, the one I have up now, which I think is the original one. They're not that expensive.
That's the one I own, is the Curve.
Yeah, they're not that expensive. So if you didn't like it, you could go get another one. And I do have an L bracket on the bottom of my camera, or the side of my camera too. So it's going to look a little bit different than what yours looks like, maybe. But you can see that it just, this part here
attaches to the tripod port with that little clip, and then you just clip onto it, so you can take it on and off easily without removing your tripod adapter, unless you're going to use a tripod, obviously.
Yeah, so it goes on really good. I think if they instructional video, yeah, here we go. Maybe I can do this and there'll be no audio, so I don't get banned from YouTube. I'll mute it. I just let that play in the background as we talk a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, putting it on is really easy, as you can see from this video. You can hold it down by your side. You can sling it back up really easy. There's one if you really wanted, if you're a wedding photographer and you wanted to have 2 cameras, one on each side of your body.
On each side.
There is a dual strap you can get that will hang on either side. That works really well. You can see the guy now connecting it. It's a fairly secure connection. When I generally use this when I'm shooting with my 70-200, and that's a lot of weight hanging at my side, so I was a little unsure at first.
Well, what I did was I got a separate. I bought an additional one of the screw mounts, and I mounted that to the bottom of my 70-200 itself.
Okay.
So that it's on that as opposed to the camera.
That's a great.
I figured I didn't want the weight of the lens pulling off the lens mount.
That's a great idea. So the only thing I worry about now, because I do feel more comfortable with it and I know it's not going to fall, is the what do you call that? The lens shade at the front. Is that called lens shade?
Get a lens shade. Yeah.
That I'm afraid that in the chaos of a swim meet, when I'm walking around and there's hardly any space, that somehow that's going to fall off my lens, and somebody's going to step on it, and I'm not going to know until I hear the crack.
And they're pretty expensive to replace a lens shade too.
They are, but so far I have not had that problem. It's not come off. I've not had anything fall off, and I've not dropped the camera or anything. It really makes it nice to be able to just walk around and have that thing at your side, and then flip it up so easily whenever you're ready to go.
Well, and I always hated the straps that were around the neck. It always bothered me with the camera hanging there, and it just was never comfortable. So this is something that's very comfortable. You pull it up from your side when you want to take a picture, and just strap it back to your side, and it's very comfortable walking around.
Yep. Okay, so that was mine, the Black Rapid, and we're gonna. Hey, look at that! We wrapped it up right at the end of that video. Awesome.
Perfect.
All right, Tim, what you got next?
All right, I got two more really that I want to talk about. I think after we talked about the Photosmith app a couple of months ago, one of the things that I needed to get for it was the Wi-Fi SD card, and or the iFi, I should say. And this is an SD card that creates its own Wi-Fi hotspot, and then I could transfer my pictures, and I could transfer just the JPEG as opposed to the raw picture into my iPad, which was great because then I was able to do the keyword tag editing to all my pictures. What it also helped me work with is a lot of times I'm taking pictures and my wife's like, oh, I want to send that picture out on Facebook. And as opposed to waiting to get back home, uploading the picture and then sending it to her so she can do it, I can transfer the picture immediately from the camera to her phone, and then she can post it on the internet. So this is it's a class 10 card. It's a very fast card. So it's not like it's a slow card. The cost is not that much more than a regular SD card that's class 10. So to me, this was a no-brainer to use moving forward at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to get one of these sometime.
Yeah, it connects very easily. It just creates its own Wi-Fi hotspot to the camera then.
I think I already have too many things on my list, so this is going to have to be another year. All right, what was your next thing?
I think the last one I want to talk about, and I'll have to be a little quiet, is because I got it for my son for Christmas. Oh. It's a quadcopter. And I didn't want to. We actually had a helicopter a couple of years ago, a small one, and we wrecked it within the first, 30 seconds. He ran outside. I said, Jack, wait for me. By the time I got outside, it had flown over a neighbor's house and crashed into a tree and then broke the blades. So I found this one. It's only $60. Actually, it's now $55 on Amazon. It's a very good training quadcopter. So you can learn how to do it. It's got a camera in it. I can't imagine the camera's all that good. I think it's 2 megapixel, but it'll take video of the shoots out there, and then and you'll learn. If it gets better and he wants something different, we can always move up from here to something different. So this is the fun little toy, and it's got a camera, so it kind of fell into the photographer's list. And who knows, maybe I'll check my gutters with it in the spring.
That is that's a great idea. So I really want to hear how this one goes. I'm going to wait for you to be the guinea pig.
That's fine.
Let me know when it goes up to check your gutters if it doesn't get stuck on the house. I'm not going up on top of the house. I don't want to have to pay somebody, $150 to go get my $50
quadcopter.
But you let me know how that goes, and if it goes really good for you, it may be something I look into buying, because I've always wanted to have some kind of remote control helicopter type thing. These quadcopters are really taken off, and there's no way I'm going to go out there and spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars on one of these. I'm never going to get serious.
They have some really good ones with, you got the GoPro camera, so you can mount that under there with a gimbal so that you can have perfectly smooth videos as you're flying over. There was actually a video I just watched this past 2 weeks ago. Guy had flown it over Niagara Falls, and it was amazing video from a quadcopter. You see a lot of these things. Now, granted, you got some people that are doing stupid things, flying them near airports, buzzing over people's backyards with it. You got to use a little good judgment when you're using these. Yeah. And this one, I think, only has a range of 150 feet. So, but I think the further you go up the chain on these, you get some of them where if you lose control of it, you can press a button and it'll have a GPS coordinate to come back to exactly where you said you wanted it.
Yeah.
So when you're spending $500, you want something like that.
Yeah, very nice. So I had a couple more things on my list. You had something else on your list, but I think we're past the hour now. Actually, we went just you and I. We went long here. and
Surprise, surprise.
and in in the pre-show, I was mentioning that YouTube is doing some kind of maintenance tonight, and if we're not done by 10 o'clock, then they won't let me shut the live stream off until after midnight. So I know, Tim, you just go ahead and go in the bed, but I'll be stuck here. And I don't want to do that. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. We had a great holiday gift show. Thanks, Tim, for coming out. And, a lot of good things, both on the cheaper spectrum, on the more expensive spectrum. We'll have all this in the show notes and a few that we didn't talk about tonight. And then, get out there and join our December photo contest. Yeah, December photo contest, the best of 2014. And you can go be looking for the post. I'll post it on our Facebook page and our Facebook group about more details on this, where you can win potentially this thing, 1 year prepaid membership to the Adobe's Creative Cloud.
And you could actually remove the code then.
You could actually scratch that off and get what the code is. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to give it to you pristine. And there may be some other prizes. There may be some different stuff going on. We'll have celebrity judges. So a lot happening. And all of this is made possible by you guys using our Amazon link when you go to buy. I've mentioned this before. Tim and I don't do this for money. We do this because we enjoy interaction with others. We enjoy we're enthusiasts, the photography enthusiasts. But there's only I'm going to fund all the hardware and all that kind of stuff. But as far as giveaways go, we're going to use our Amazon link, 100% of it. Actually, we usually use a little bit more than 100% because I'll contribute a little bit on my own. But we're going to use that. So the more you guys use our link, which is jpeg2RAW.com/Amazon, the more you use that, when you go to Amazon, if you're going to go tomorrow, use it tomorrow. If you're going to go the next day, you got to use it again. Every time you go, use it. The best thing to do is go there once when you're on that very first initial page, bookmark it, and then use that bookmark every time you go. You don't have to remember it. And that's whether you're buying photography stuff or shoes or phones or, 70-inch Ultra HD TVs or whatever you're buying, use our link on Amazon. We also have one for Topaz Labs, which is jpeg2RAW.com/Topaz Labs. If you're not familiar with what they have to offer, go take a look at it. I know, Tim, I think both of us we've bought the full package,
yes,
right?
I have it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go out there and do that. We'd love to have you in our forums. They're getting a little bit more active, but still is mainly just me. I do a lot of posting of images and all kind of stuff out there. So come out to the forums, which is jpeg2RAW.com/forums, and join in the discussion. If you are listening to this after the fact, which is 99% of the people, we'd love to have you come and watch a live show. We do this most Tuesday nights, although we're going to be taking a break for Christmas. We take a break for Thanksgiving. We're about to take a break for Christmas. We have something going on next week, and then we'll take 2 weeks off for Christmas break. But other than that, we're generally out here on Tuesday nights at 8:30 Eastern, jpeg2RAW.com/live. Every show is at jpeg2RAW.com/live. You come to that page, I will generally put up, sometimes I'm a little bit late, but generally put up right above where the video is playing, when the next live show is, and what the topic is. You can also go to our forums and the calendar. There's a link there that shows, upcoming shows that we have and who's going to be the guest. And if there's going to be a guest, it gives you more detailed information about that guest. Would also would love for you to subscribe. There's almost too many ways to discuss now, Tim, on where you can go to subscribe. At the end of each show notes, I have a whole section there with all kind of links where you can go subscribe. iTunes, TiVo,
right.
Stitcher, Spreaker, Podomatic, TuneIn. The list goes on. There's tons of ways you can go subscribe. Of course, YouTube is all that. If you're on iTunes, if you have iTunes, whether you subscribe to us or not, what I would love for you to do for us to help us out, get our guests to be seen more and get the community to grow, is go out to there. Pick one of them. We have 3 feeds: the audio feed, video large, video small. Pick one of the feeds and do a review. We have a link on our page that talks about how to do a review. If you want to go out there and look at it, they're fairly straightforward. But if you have iTunes, whether you subscribe to us through iTunes or not, please go out there to iTunes and leave us a review. The more reviews, it helps push us up in the rankings and helps us get seen. As you can imagine, with everything that's out there, it gets harder and harder to be seen. So anything you do can help out. And that's all I have. Yeah.
That's
I'm
it.
done.
I think you said a mouthful.
Yeah, we went quite a ways. So until next show, which hopefully is next week, keep it raw, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everybody.